life. So a swing set should probably be replaced anyway, regardless of what they do with the park or not. The other kiddie ride is basically missing most of its pieces, I believe. And then the one part that is good could just be moved to another part of the park. And beyond that, there's no access on the lower side of the park closer to Carone's, because you'd be coming in and out of Front Street, which is a state highway, and you'd have to look at highway occupancy permits and PennDOT studies, and there's a road there. I think the survey stakes are still there. You'll see that there's not really anywhere to get in and out. That's again 185's property right up to Front Street there. So.
Well, personally, I'm opposed to it.
Sure. Yeah.
We've sold enough of the park that this is the only piece we have left in town.
Right.
The Coxes gave it to us years ago, years and years and years ago.
Yep.
And I don't think we should sell or lease or do anything with it other than keep it manageable.
Sure. I think that's basically it. I think that's where we're at anyway, just because of the difficulties with the property.
We can't fill a 12-seat daycare now. How are we going to fill a 30, 40-seat daycare? And the majority of the people in town are elderly. They don't have children. And yes, some people do take their kids to Mountaintop or thing, but maybe that's on their way to work. Some people choose to take them out of town. Don't want them in the Freeland School District, want them somewhere else.
Sure.
So I'm totally against it, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we appreciate your opinion.
I just have some questions.
After the day, it looks like with the daycare fiasco.
Did
We lost
anybody,
a wonderful, well-attended school, and a lot of people use that Y. Now, it's all gone. Beautiful. 2 pools.
I'm sorry, would you repeat the question?
There was daycare going on there, which apparently was mostly subsidized.
Is there going to be a daycare in the Hazleton one? In the Hazleton one? What happened?
Yes, so, yes, so this is a little off topic, but I'll answer it, because they weren't doing daycare at the time. It went bankrupt.
Yeah.
A bank took it over.
So it was paid the way.
Hmm?
But because the government's helping pay the way for daycare.
So I guess, how do I say this? So at the same time in 2019, Wilkes-Barre had a 4-star Keystone child care program. And it's a much bigger, more complicated, older facility, and the daycare helps sustain that facility. So the Wilkes-Barre Y has been a very strong Y for a long time. Hazleton did not have a 4-star program, they had a 1-star
A
program.
lot of the people that went to Hazleton are now driving to Burlington.
Yeah, so they took on a lot of debt to expand the gym. A lot of debt, $2 million. With not like a local bank, with a predatory lender based out of Colorado. And they couldn't make the payments, and they went bankrupt. And so they were independent of our organization at that point in time. One of our donors bought the building back from the predatory lender and began the process of renovating the building. So yes, it is very unfortunate that the pool closed. But so I made the point earlier, we've repurchased the building, we're restabilizing it, and we're in the process of putting $10 million into the building, and that pool is going to be open again by April of next year. Yes, by April of next year. If you go by, there's tons of construction that's going on with the building right now. The building is very old, it was built in the 60s. So this is the point. So I'm really passionate about the Y. I've been on the board for 10 years. I'm taking this as an opportunity to do a little PR on this. So bear with me. And I talked about the NAP program. We've raised $3 million of the $10 million through the NAP program. The Weinberg Foundation gave us $1.5 million. The Scheibel Foundation gave us $500,000, and a number of other small gifts, LSAs, whatever, over the course of time. These facilities are very hard to sustain. They're community centers. The community has to rally around them and support them because they run youth programming. They're nonprofits for a reason. You can't make money running youth programming. So, I think our organization, we brought a ton of funding to the Hazleton YMCA, and it will be reopened. And it didn't fail because of child care. It will thrive because of child care, That's a 75 child childcare, and it's full immediately. I was like the very first month that it was open. Your demographics are different than Hastings demographics, like they're very different, so it's not an apples-to-apples comparison, but it's only where we built it and it was filled within a very short amount of time.
Go ahead.
So I have a question as far as, I'm a little confused as far as the grant, and your time on it, your date on it. There was a grant announced in February of this year by Representative Walsh that the YMCA already received $68,255 that it applied for, and it says to develop new child care at the location of the Freeland Public Park. Where's that money?
Oh, God. These are reimbursement grants. We don't get a nickel until we fund the money ourselves, submit all the invoices to the state, and then get reimbursed for it.
So you spend it, and then they give it back?
Yes, we spend it, and then the state gets it back. So nobody has done anywhere yet. We've applied, we've gotten contracts to do the project. The projects need to be designed, competitively bid, constructed. Once they're constructed, we send invoices to the state, and then the state reimburses. So the money is still sitting with the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
So theoretically, though, this money is going back because this isn't happening?
No, the park project has nothing to do with the child care center. The park project is to do fencing.
Because it specifically says in the article it's for a child care center.
Well, we have a 12-person child care center at the Y, and those kids are gonna play at the park.
Right.
And that's what the money's gonna be spent on. It's gonna be spent on fencing. You have to do this in the grant application. The grant application is for fencing and mulch. And so we're gonna spend the money on fencing and mulch. I'm not allowed to spend it on anything else other than fencing
Which is
and
why
mulch.
I asked it, because it specifically mentions the building. If that's not happening, what happens to the money that we get there? So basically, the state still has it.
Yes. The state still has it, and the Freeland Boro will still get it for improvements at the park. And frankly, if you folks wanted to take that money and repurpose it, you have to go back and ask your representatives to do it, but if you want a new swing set instead of fencing for our 9 kids,
Swing set before fencing.
I'm sorry?
Swing set before fencing.
So the other question is for the borough.
Nobody wants
Did
to.
anybody physically look at the title?
If you're gonna have the children,
Anybody look at the
children
title
in
of-
daycare play in the park, then it needs to be.
Need to the land of the park. Did anybody
It doesn't,
lay eyes on it?
doesn't need,
We were just
it's
diving.
it's safer.
Sorry.
It's safer. The way they travel across the street is safer.
Okay.
Like,
I got a question there. Just want to get out of the way.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Did
Sorry.
anybody physically see the title to the park? And
We're nearly that far along in the process yet. That's for solicitors to review, and, you know, the precedent, I guess, would say is that it's happened in the past where the park's been subdivided, because it did at one time go from Front Street to South and from Sable to Graham. So I guess the precedent was there that it has been divided in the past, and why would there be a restriction to prohibit it in the future?
so I've seen the title.
Sure.
It's a fee simple determinable title, which means in 1892 it was granted by the Cox Foundation to the borough. At that time, the determinable part means that if you try to use it for anything else, it goes back to the Cox family. You can never, it's in perpetuity, you can never change the use of it, ever. If you try to change the use of it, the recorder of deeds cannot file that title, it'll go back to the Cox Foundation. If there's no heirs from the Cox Foundation who step forward and say, okay, it's ours now, it gives the sheet to the state. You never get it back, ever. So once you try and say, we're gonna use the park for something else, you may lose it forever, the whole thing, and it never comes back. That's what's on the title, it was signed and filed in 1892. I can give you the names of the people on council who signed it, if you like, but I've seen it. You cannot do what you're trying to do. You will lose it forever.
But it happened before.
Yeah, Garland.
Garland and Ross Market.
Discount sale.
Before Garland, it was before Garland, and Garland, that was not a listener, and it was discount deal.
They were created
Right,
for
so
jobs.
they still were able to do
The
it.
precedent's already been set that it is something that's.
So the
Letting it be
precedent,
given.
the precedent was set, that the Cox Foundation approved it. And the court case, Calhoun versus Hayes, they could make that decision.
Sure.
The case was decided in 1945. It's never been overturned. However, there's nobody from the Cox family who's gonna come along and say, well, we're gonna give you permission to do it. So the precedent may be there, but it was because they said so. The borough cannot change that, or they lose the title.
The Cox Foundation still exists to this day, and I can tell you that my family actually bought land off them about 12 years ago on Windy Hill Road that belonged to them, and they approved them to sell the land.
I'm not.
So they exist, I mean, we're getting really off course here, right? I mean, this is.
I'm just.
Can I maybe try to help this along for the sake of everybody?
Sure, yeah,
Yeah. I mean, obviously, council can't take any action at a work session.
absolutely
There's
not.
nothing on the agenda about taking,
Correct.
we maybe take a straw poll, you know, a third person from council finally spoke. To this point in time, there had only been two tonight, to say, at the next month's meeting, we're gonna have a no vote on this.
This, if we're not gonna say civil, we're just
I
gonna
am
shut it
civil,
down.
but
No,
listen, I was
no
listening
back
to
and forth. Yeah, sure, okay.
what they were saying.
He
I
didn't
raised
single
my-
anybody
I
out.
raised my hand.
You
He did
say
not
already-
single anybody out.
You did say already, it's probably not happening in the park. and people
But
say it's
probably
happening
is,
in the
is,
park.
is a real slippery word.
Sure, I went beyond, you know, I can't say unequivocally at this point, but I would, you know, there's a strong indicator, there's no, support from the community,
Right.
and there's alternative sites that may be more suitable, so.
And so, I know I got a little heat before, and I apologize for that, I'm passionate about it, and I was just trying to protect a friend. And I do apologize for maybe being presumptuous and not, because I don't know your community, and I didn't appreciate how important the park is to you folks. I mean, the YMCA can never do anything that the community doesn't want, because we rely on the community for support. This is not the way we want to make an entree in your community, so I feel like I already got off on the wrong foot. And so I apologize in that respect. Yeah, but as far as, like, if you would like us to formally rescind the LOI,
It was a non-binding
Yeah,
letter of
yeah.
intent to begin with.
again,
It's just a conversation starter.
so, I probably went on a little long, but I want to thank everyone for the time, and I appreciate the opportunity to
I
be
have
here.
another question, is it for council or?
I just want to make it known, Linnea Delphine, Front Street, I live across from the park, at the swings, totally opposed to it. Prior to moving here, I worked for the YMCA in another community. I was the aftercare, childcare program director. So I understand what they do, how they do it. I've had that nice position. But then I went on to teaching, and then I moved here. I just want it to be known strongly against the park being sold.
Thanks, everyone.
Wait,
Thank you.
can I offer a suggestion? Alternate location? There's a building on front and center, and that should be getting fixed or taken care of. Why don't the Y try to go after that? Because it's not too far away from the Y facility, and in return, you'd also be helping rejuvenate the downtown area. And the parking lot next to the former bank where I used to work at before I was let go, see if the owner of the parking lot there would help try to get you guys the parking lot. And that'll do three things. One, leave the park alone. Two, could help rejuvenate the downtown area. So while the people are waiting for their kids for their programs to be finished, they can go to Woody's, get something to eat. They can go get their taxes done. They can go to the Chinese store, they can go to the deli, they can go get their pills at CVS, they can go to the bar, but don't drink and drive. And in return, that would benefit all the way around. Just my suggestion.
No, one of my first meetings, informal meeting with myself, Jim Thomas, and council, we met, and we did look at some buildings that day with Deb Carr, and when we drove around town. So, I mean, and again, retrofitting the right building is far more economical with us than a greenfield construction. So, I mean, our goal would be to get in, obviously, at the lowest amount of funding that we need to raise, or the lowest amount of debt that we need to take on. So, yeah, so building is preferable to greenfield.
Fred just mentioned the community bank is open.
The bank building,
That's a nice building, you could do a lot with that.
and they're for the community. Maybe you should guys decide to talk to them, because I know there's a branch right across from the Hazelton Y, or right up, you'll see the community bank branch. I would suggest to try to get them to talk to them to see about that building, and see if they would, and then
not to make light of the situation, but I'm happy. There's gonna be a lot of people helping me find properties right now. So I've got a really big research team here, and so I'm appreciative of that. So thank you all very much.
Is that for him or council? Sorry.
My understanding was that if they gave the parcel of land to Freeland, it would be kept for a public park. Now, years ago, Garland paid $4,000 a month for several years in the event they wanted to expand. It's supposed to be a public park. I have nothing against the Y. I went to the Y for games, aerobics, fun stuff. But it's supposed to be a public park, not to be used part of building for another thing. Now, Fred said, how many buildings in Freeland are available? Why do you need to take part of the park and put up another building that'll probably be empty, sir?
We're not.
I think the conclusion of the discussion was that that's not going to be what happens at that location, so
It's a non-issue.
it's a non-issue at this point, right? We explored several possibilities. That was the one that they most desired, so that was the direction we went. This has been talked about at several meetings now, and this is where we're at. So it's not feasible for them. Now, we're still gonna look at other options for the park. We're still discussing adding some parking there somewhere. We have a terrible problem with overcrowding of cars on Front Street and Pine Street when there's leagues and other games, so this might be the end of the park discussion altogether, but as far as a childcare facility there, I don't believe there's, any path forward for the borough, so.
And what is this dollar amount they offered?
That's a non-binding letter of intent. That was a starting point. That's not legal. We couldn't even do that if we wanted to. It's not an option for the borough to sell the land that way. It would either be a subdivision and then a lease, or it would be a subdivision and then the land, after it's appraised, would go out to the highest bidder. And then you couldn't control who would buy it anyway, so that's not really a path forward for Y to wind up there either. So,
Who owns the Methodist church? You're at the park alley at the
It's
main.
just been.
I know it's just been sold in the past few months. I couldn't tell, I don't know, I couldn't even disclose who the owner was.
It's not far.